Hi guys, welcome back. For those who are watching me for the very first time, my name is Adiola and I'm a Nigerian living here in Merida, Yucatan, Mexico. Alright, today's video will be about my personal experience getting blood transfusions here in Merida, Mexico, and I'm going to be focusing on the public health care because I actually got blood at a public hospital. Now this video will be a 2 to 3 part series about public health care in Merida, and I should also say Mexico because it's probably similar all across the country. And then I'm going to have another 2-part series about going through the private healthcare system. So I do have an experience dealing with the public healthcare system and also the private healthcare system. I actually have more experience with the private healthcare system. And for Canadians watching me, you also want to pay attention because I'm going to be making some comparisons between my experience here in Mexico versus my experience in Canada. Because I actually do have dual citizenships, so a Nigerian citizenship as well as a Canadian citizenship. Alright, so as of the time that I'm recording this video, it's mid-February of 2025. So I'm actually going to be backtracking. I'm going to be going back to the past year. So and going back to when I needed to get an emergency blood transfusion back in October of 2024. So this was like 5 months ago thereabouts. So in October of 2024, I was having major health issues, health crisis, and I had to go do a blood test. We found out that my hemoglobin level was low again, and that meant that I would need another blood transfusion because 3 months prior to that I had received a blood transfusion in Edmonton, Alberta. So, and that was my first transfusion ever because again my hemoglobin level was dangerously low at that point. But yeah, so I got my blood transfusion and then I had to go for 5 iron transfusions afterwards. So 2023, especially 2024, was like just getting poked all year long. So anyway, October I was having very bad symptoms, gynecological symptoms. So I did mention that this is going to be a 2 to 3 part series. Actually, altogether it'll be a few videos. So I was having a major gynecological health crisis, and so after doing the blood test, we found out that I will need an emergency blood transfusion. Then I had 2 options, right? The doctor who asked me to go do the blood test already told me that I might have to go and buy blood. Yes, you heard me right. Buy blood. And he told me the rough estimate, like 8,000 pesos and thereabout. I was like, what? That what? Okay, so, and then when I found out that, okay, I needed blood, and then I started calling around a few hospitals. I called like 3 hospitals. They were all private hospitals, by the way. I called them and I asked them how much they charge for blood. Human blood, by the way. How much they charge. And they all gave me the estimate, which was actually quite, that they were very similar to each other, right? And then I thought, okay, what if I go to the public hospital? Because my doctor also told me that I might have to go to the public hospital. It's much cheaper. It's not that great, but it's much cheaper. So I was okay. And then my friend Gina actually came to pick me up because I was like running on like 5% of battery, okay? 5% battery life. So she came to pick me up, and then she actually went with me to the public hospital. And then as soon as I walked into the ER unit, I was like, no way. And then we just left because they had a lot of people, like any hospital, especially public hospitals. They had quite a lot of people, and I just felt like, okay, I don't even have my mask, right? And also I was too tired to even want to sit and find out what's next. So I was like, no. So we left. And also, like, I didn't want to be a burden to the public healthcare system. So I thought, okay, let's go to a different hospital, a private hospital really close to my house. So they dropped me off, and then I needed to see an internist. And then the internist, after a few minutes, I didn't have to wait that long actually. The internist came down and then he explained my situation, what I would actually need to solve my situation. And so he gave me his price breakdown for the hospital, right? Now, here in Mexico, they have two packages, right? When it comes to receiving blood, or should I say when it comes to buying blood. So the one package will be, well, that's going through the public healthcare, or the private healthcare system. The private healthcare system, you have two packages. One package, they charge you a lot because they have to administer the blood, they have to use so many materials, so on and so forth, and then they charge you. And then there's another price package where they charge you for like an all-inclusive package, and that includes the blood. So this one package will cost me 7,500 pesos. That if I'm going to be bringing in a donor. I'll probably do another video about how to be a donor and how to be a recipient of blood transfusions here in Mexico, because it's the same all over the country. So if I bring in a donor, it'll cost 7,500 pesos. If I don't bring in a donor, it'll cost 10,500 pesos, meaning it'll cost about 3,000 pesos to buy the blood from the blood bank. And then on top of that, it'll cost 1,965 pesos to put me in a private room where they will administer the blood transfusion. Okay, so altogether, let's just say 2,000 pesos. For me, in my case then, because my blood level was really low, I needed at least minimum 2 blood transfusions, 2 packages. Or better yet, 3 would be ideal, because my doctor then wanted to schedule me in for a surgery, but I was waiting to see freaking Canadian doctors. Okay, so I was delaying. Biggest mistake ever, and I would explain that in a follow-up video. So he was like, you need at least 2 blood transfusions, so at least bring you back up to normal, right? Because my blood level was dangerously low. I'll probably share that the numbers in the next video. So I was thinking to myself, okay, if I do get the absolute minimum 2 packages and I don't bring in a donor, it'll cost me, so that's 10,500 pesos times 2, so that's 21,000 pesos plus the 2,000 pesos it'll cost me for the private room. That will be 23,000 pesos. If I bring in donors, right, that will be 15,000 pesos, right, for the 2 packages, and then 2,000 pesos for the private room, 70,000 pesos. And I was thinking, okay, like I'm thinking of getting surgery very soon, and the surgery, it's not that much of a price difference to the blood transfusion that I need. So I thought to myself, maybe I should save this money towards my surgery, which will actually help me to cure this issue once and for all. And also, I felt uncomfortable buying blood because the blood they're going to be selling me, the blood packages were donated by people who gave those blood for free. Like, they didn't charge for it. Sometimes you can also charge, and again, I'm going to talk about that in the next video about giving and receiving blood here in Mexico. So I just didn't feel comfortable going through that route. So I thought to myself, okay, what do I need to do? I need blood ASAP, because then I was having major health issues. So I thought, you know what? How much is a flight again to Canada? And then I checked from Cancun to Toronto, like return flight, about 7,000 pesos, thereabout. I thought, okay, it's actually cheaper for me to fly there and come back than even the price of one blood package. Because remember, one blood package will cost 7,500 pesos plus the 2,000 pesos. That's about, let's say, 10,000 pesos, right? But for me to go and come back, it's less than 10,000 pesos, right? Plus, I also felt that while I was living there in Canada, I was younger, healthier. I didn't even need the healthcare system. I didn't use the healthcare system. I had a family doctor in a different province in Ontario. I only went to him when I was a teenager. I didn't use all those benefits. So I was like, okay, now is my time. Now is my time to use all that benefit. I had to book a flight, and I flew out, and then I left. I got the blood. I got 2 blood transfusions, and then I had to go to a different hospital in Ontario to get iron, because my iron was also dangerously low, to get iron transfusion. So that will be my 6th iron transfusion within a 3-month time frame. So that was it, right? That was in October of 2024. I got that. I thought, yay, good. Now I just have to wait for my next appointment with my so-called gynecologist then in Edmonton and see what options that I had, right? Because I was thinking, should I do the surgery here, just pay out of pocket, or should I do the surgery in Canada where I don't have to pay out of pocket, but it will take me several months to get the surgery date? But do I have several months to wait? Because my health was deteriorating, because my health was just getting worse and worse, right? Because that's one thing about health. Once you have a symptom, you want to make sure that you deal with that, otherwise it's just going to get worse. So I got that, and then a week later I came back to Merida feeling like, okay, now I have a little bit more energy, even though I was still experiencing that gynecological problem. So every day I was just wasting that blood. And also that was one of the reasons why I decided not to buy blood, because I thought, okay, I'm buying this blood, I don't know how long it'll last me for, because right now I'm just wasting blood on a daily basis. It's just leaking. I was having a major leakage of blood. That was it. And then I was still waiting. I was talking to my gynecologist here and also trying to get a simple phone appointment with my gynecologist then, because I had already seen her in August of 2024. And again, I'm going to talk about that in another video. So I thought, okay, I'm supposed to have a consultation with my gynecologist in Edmonton, and I'm hoping over the phone, because when I was in Canada then, I think she was on vacation or something, and I was trying to get a phone consultation. They were resisting for some reason. I was like, so you guys expect me to fly in for just a 10-minute consultation? Because that's how long they give you, 10 minutes, one issue per visit, 10 maximum 15 minutes. So now let's fast forward. Let's come back to November of 2024 when I needed blood again after just a month of receiving 2 blood transfusions. So I needed blood again, and then I remember, so after I had received the blood then in Ontario, I had a little bit more time to think and to strategize, because then I had posted on a few WhatsApp groups for blood donors while I was still in Merida, thinking if I wanted to get the blood here or not. And then a friend who had a surgery, I think back in 2020 during the pandemic, she messaged me and she gave me a really important tip. And she told me that, okay, it's actually possible to get blood at the public hospital. And that's what she did. And it was her doctor, her private doctor, who actually referred her to the hospital. Now, doctors here in Mexico, they have to practice in the public healthcare system. Even though they might practice at a private hospital, they might have private consultations, but they have to practice at a public healthcare, within the public healthcare system. So really, you're going to be seeing the same doctor. Either you go to a public hospital or you see a private hospital. The only thing is that the experience will be different, which I will talk about in my hospitalization experiences in a public hospital versus private hospital here in Merida. So it's the same doctor. It doesn't matter if you go to the public hospital, you're going to see the same doctor as going to a private hospital. So my friend had told me that she actually got blood at a public hospital, and she was like, it's very cheap, it's very whatever, right? So I was like, okay. I remember Stella telling me that I could actually go get blood at a public hospital, so I don't have to fly back to Canada again. Because by that point, I was like, no mass, done. Like, I don't even have the energy to fly out again. So this time around, I thought, okay, let me go. So I went up by myself. Then, even though my blood level had gone back to what it was a month prior, for some reason I had some energy. For some reason, I had more energy than what I had a month prior when I was having the major health crisis. So, and even my doctor was actually, he was actually more concerned about my health than I was. Like, he would call me and message me, have you gone for the test? Have you gone for this? Have you gone for that? So I was okay, because there was a particular day I wanted to go, but I was running on like maybe 3% of battery. I couldn't leave my house. I was that tired. So I was like, I couldn't go today because I was really tired, but I'll go tomorrow. So the following day, I got up and then I went to the hospital, the public hospital. I went to the same emergency room. I went in there because I went by myself, so I was able to just take my time with stuff. And then I was okay. So, and then my doctor had written me a letter, right? He wrote me a letter and I just presented it when I got to the urgent care. I presented it and they were like, oh, okay, it's a gynecological issue. And they were like, we have another ER department for gynecological issues. To me, that was just strange. That was weird. That was where I was like, what? Like, you guys have 2 ERs? Because in Canada, we only have 1 ER. So, and then I had to go to that other ER department for women, and then I got checked in. Fast forward, right? Because remember, this video will be a 2 to 3 part series. So let's just fast forward, right? To me now getting hospitalized. So fast forward. So I got to the gynecological department. I signed in. I gave them my ID, everything. Signed me in. I went in. I saw the doctor. They did a blood test, and then I got my result. And then I needed to be hospitalized, right? Now this is where I'm gonna stop this video, because the next part will be about giving and receiving blood in Merida, Mexico. Let me just generalize it and say Mexico, because it's the same. And probably the third part in this 3-part series will be about my public hospital experience here in Merida, right? So, and then I'll do another 2 to 3-part series about going through the private healthcare system in the same city, in the same country. All right, so let me end the video right here, right? So this is just to give you a backstory about me needing blood urgently here in Merida, and what I did then, and how you can also, solve that problem. Now for me, I speak Spanish, I understand Spanish, so I was able to go and maneuver the healthcare system by myself. If you don't speak Spanish, or you don't speak Spanish well, it's better to go with a friend. But the thing is, when it comes to getting hospitalized in a public hospital, I wouldn't recommend it, okay? I wouldn't recommend it, because actually maybe I do recommend it, because some of the nurses and doctors, they do speak English, some of them, but I wouldn't recommend going through the public. But anyway, this isn't about the hospital experience here in Merida. It's about me getting to a point where I needed to get blood transfusions here in Merida, Mexico. All right, so in the next video, I'm going to be sharing what you need to know about blood transfusions. So receiving blood and also donating blood. And then if you have a really like a rare blood type, because that's me, a rare blood type, you also want to tune in, because this video, that video that I'm gonna make will be very useful to you. Okay, so stay tuned. Ciao.